church, why you so mean to me? Yeah, you don't know what you mean to me. And no girl, I ain't friendly. Bring 2 girls over, we can get friendly.
Shorty won't ride with me. Book a flight, come fly with me. She won't spend the night with me.
Yeah, hey, shorty won't ride with me. Shorty won't slide with me. She won't get high with me. No, you wouldn't lie to me. Said she would die for me. Shorty won't ride with me.
All right, what is going on, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls? Welcome to the Meatpack Sports Podcast. I am your host, Michael Rogers, and as always, we have 2 beautiful co-hosts, Mr. Mike Richmond, Nicholas Twiggs. Say what's up, boys?
Yes.
How
sir.
we doing?
We are doing just fine. How about yourself?
Chilling.
Chilling. That's what I like to hear. So first thing we're going to talk about here, let's get into a little football action. Last night, Thursday night football, we had, I thought was a great game, little NFC East action. Had the New York Giants, Philadelphia Eagles. I came into this game thinking it was going to be so bad. It was going to be a good football game, and it turned out to be a pretty damn football game. Philadelphia stormed back to win there at the end. Looking at a picture here, the Giants were up 21-10 on the Eagles with about 4 minutes left to play. Eagles played really good to come back and win. I didn't think they were going to be able to do it, but they actually looked really, really good. Before I get into anything, I want to hand it over here to the 2 Eagles fans. What do we think of the game last night?
Yeah, there's stuff they definitely can improve on. I think Carson Wentz tried to do a lot by himself. He looks scared in the pocket, which is pretty concerning. He did throw a couple nice dimes. That dime in the back of the end zone to Boston Scott won the game.
Hey, Boston Scott out here, dude, flying around.
Definitely
Makes it happen versus the Giants.
Yeah, that is for sure.
Yeah, Boston Scott looked good. Wayne Gallman for the Giants was running train there for a little bit. Looked pretty good. Big thing I want to talk about here. I know we have a picture queued up. I know we know how fast Tyreek Hill is. I know we know how fast John Ross's fastest 40 time combine history, but we're missing out Mr. Danny Dimes, aka White Lightning. I'm expecting tomorrow a Madden update to give him a 99 speed. That boy was flying. Turf Monster got his first tackle of the year. That was a spectacle to see. That was crazy. That was insane.
He broke all the way through. It was like clear field. The overhead view, like the cam, is literally like 20 yards, and then he just stumbles, bro.
Just stumbled.
That's the longest run by a quarterback since Mariota in like 2015.
2015.
Wow.
The craziest part about that is the fastest play, the next gen stats they use and all that. The fastest play that had been recorded this year was a play from Tyreek Hill where he reached up to 21.29 miles per hour. Danny Dimes, 21.23 miles per hour. That boy's legs were just moving. White lightning, baby. I don't care about Danny Dimes. I told you this boy could run, and he made it happen. Would have been more epic if he would have scored, but I think that was the fun part of that. whether or not he feels a little embarrassed that the play. I think Evan Ingram should feel more embarrassed today than Danny Dimes should after he dropped that pass. That was just
Couldn't have been a better pass. Hit him right in the hands and just dropped it.
couldn't have been a better pass. But yeah, I mean, that was a fun game to watch. Hold on here.
Right now, we got Carson Wentz coming in. His stats, he was 25 for 43 on passing, 58% completion rate. He had 359 passing yards,
That's
2
great.
touchdowns, 1 was rushing. And right now, he's currently ranked 4th in the NFL for passing yards, which is great, but he's also tied for last with 10 interceptions.
Ugh.
That's hard to believe he's 4th in passing for the year. It doesn't seem right.
A little Nathan Peterman 2.0 out there.
Tossing absolute bums. I mean, that's been the consistent problem with the Eagles is just the receiver core has not been there. But last night they
D-Jack's
found a way to win
for the foreseeable future.
That was a gross hit, though. That really was kind of filthy to watch.
It really was.
Yeah, him immediately grabbing for his leg there. I actually think the Eagles wideouts kind of stepped up a little bit last night. We saw some good plays made by Fulgham. Greg Ward had a couple catches. What's the tight end there? Rogers there. What's his name with the D there? Richard Rogers. I mean, they look good. Did Zach Ertz even play or was he out?
He's on IR.
He's on IR. Yeah, that's what I thought.
John Hightower had like a 50-yard catch as well.
John Hightower. And then obviously, that play down the stretch to Boston Scott in the end zone. That thing was on a rope. I think that was probably the best Carson Wentz has looked all year. I think definitely last week against the Ravens, he looked good, but they still lost. I think not because it was his fault, but I think this week, like I just said, 21-10 with four minutes and some change. I mean, I didn't think he'd come back. They'd be able to come back and do that, but that team was able to make some good plays. I really thought the Giants would be able to secure that, and I said in last week's show, throughout watching the Giants, I'm definitely seeing the Giants get better. Like if we're comparing the two New York teams, the Jets and the Giants, the big difference is, the Giants are awful, but progressively each week you're seeing them get better. I mean, to hold the Eagles to 10 points all the way up into that point, I thought was pretty good. But then obviously when you kind of blow things open like that, I mean, that probably just comes down to inexperience and coaching and Danny White Lightning there. Not being as experienced as he should to maybe hold on and secure that game. And then obviously that drop by Ingram probably would have secured it more than likely. But those things happen. I mean, that's NFC East football right now. You know what I mean? That's what we're going to get. That was actually a really fun game to watch. And I mean, I don't know. I definitely had the Giants going into that just because of all the injuries the Eagles had. Lane Johnson in and out throughout the game. That dude can't stay healthy to save his life. And that was some good Thursday night football. We'd love to see some good football on Thursday. I mean, what else do you guys think about that?
Yeah, Eagles' offensive line is a complete mess right now. I'm pretty surprised they pulled that game out.
Yeah, that was a good one. Keeping on track with some football, some breaking news. We're about an hour or two behind from when it did break. About an hour and a half ago, Adam Schefter reported that Mr. Antonio Brown, AB 84, will visit Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Said he was flying down there tonight, but as of 20, 30, 40 minutes ago, it looks official, like they are going to sign him. What I'm reading here, Antonio Brown and the Buccaneers have reached an agreement on a 1-year deal. Some things still have to be finalized. He's still got to go through COVID protocols. But Brown is likely to make his Bucs debut in Week 9. So we got to talk about that for a second. We did a poll last night on our Twitter, if we got that queued up there. AB returns to football. Will he be a beast or a bust? Now, here's the way I look at it. I look at this poll, and I think the bust thing, I know that's what our poll voters said. He'd be a bust, but I think the word bust in this situation, I don't think he's going to be a bum. I don't think he's not going to contribute. I don't think that's ever been the problem with Antonio Brown. I think if Antonio Brown is on the football field, he's going to play good. He's going to be open. I know he's a little older. He hasn't played since week whenever he played last year with the Patriots there against the Dolphins. So I mean, I didn't ever think the problem was going to be if he has lost his talent or lost a step or whatnot. It's obviously just a locker room thing, and he's obviously had a onslaught of off the field stuff going on and whatnot. But I'm looking at this Bucs offense now, man. It's like that's some weapons. I mean, that's some weapons. If you're throwing to Mike Evans, Godwin, got Antonio Brown in the cut now, still got Gronk at the tight end. I mean, still not a playoff team, huh?
Yeah, it definitely throws a wrench into things. It's going to go one of two ways. Tony Brown is known to be a cancer in the locker room, so it's gonna be interesting to see. There's just so many weapons on that team now. It's gonna be interesting to see where the targets go.
Only so many balls to go around there down in Tampa.
Yeah. So
I think Antonio Brown would be another good little piece in that puzzle. Like you said, the receiver core right now is pretty strong. Godwin, Mike Evans, John Franklin III out there. But I don't know. I like AB going there.
Scotty Miller in the cut. My thing is, what is he? I mean, is he slot? Did they put him in the slot? I'm not too sure.
He can run all that, bro. I think when he first plays, they're gonna get him in there to use his feet. That's what he's known for. He's gonna be a quick slant route and just let him go. See if he's got that yak.
I would assume you probably see Mike Evans in the slot, and then Godwin, what's his nuts, Antonio Brown on the outside. It'll be interesting to see, though. I don't know.
Yeah, I agree.
All three of those receivers could be a wide receiver one on
easily.
Yeah, easily. On most teams. So
most teams, and now Tom Brady's going to be. Well, like I said, there's only one ball to go around, and then a couple days ago, there were talks that it looked like Seattle was going to make the move. There were a couple hints of other places he could potentially go, but it definitely looked like for a minute there he was going to go to Seattle. But then we're hearing that Tom has been pushing for this for a while, which I mean makes sense because he did the same thing last year. You know, he the whole thing melted down with the Steelers and you know, then he goes on to the Raiders and essentially self implodes there, and then you know, goes and plays that one game with the Dolphins where he looked legit there for a couple quarters, you know, scores a touchdown, and like that's Antonio Brown. And then they had to cut him after that because of some more allegations and stuff, some deeper serious stuff that was lobbied against him, which I'm not sure. I don't know anything about that current situation. I know it was some sort of sexual misconduct, a couple of different scenarios. His name's been a part of, which I still think from what I've saw, he's still doing some court stuff or whatnot, but I don't know. All I know is on the football field, the Tampa Bay Bucs should have Antonio Brown with them week 9. I don't know who their week 9 opponent is. But yeah, that's going to be scary. I mean, and like I said, it definitely makes sense for Tom to be pushing for this. You know, he pushed and vouched for him last year to come to New England. And I thought last year when they did that's not really a New England move to maybe go out and get quote unquote a troublemaker like that and whatnot. But something Tom Brady was very interested in, I guess, and petitioned for. And I guess my only thing is I want to get your guys' take on this. If you are Mike Evans, you are Chris Godwin, you're Ronald Jones, Gronk, and I mean the Bucs are playing very good. I mean, where do you think that locker room's at right now or tomorrow as far as like, hey, I think we're kind of good where we're at right now. I don't really see why we need to bring this guy in. But you know, when the greatest quarterback of all time is saying, hey, let's go get this guy. I mean, how would you feel about that? You know?
I would assume they probably go into it with an open mind. They haven't made the playoffs in a super long time, and adding a piece like Antonio Brown definitely won't hurt them offensively. So,
I agree with you, Twig, too. But I think if it starts to go the other way, if things don't start to work out, that's just an easy scapegoat as well. It's going to get. He came in here and ruined everything. So I think it go either way. But I'm excited. Like I said, I'm excited to see him out there. You know, I do think he's going to get a couple receptions, a couple targets a game.
Oh, yeah, they'll get him going started early. I have no doubt about that. And I mean, he's a good weapon. I mean, I think now that he's older, I know he hasn't in a while. I know he came into the league. He was a big punt returner, kick returner. So I don't think we'll see any of that. But I definitely see them getting him involved in the offense. And I mean, that's just so much firepower to have on that offense, because now we're looking at, saw a tweet earlier, Ian Rappaport said that Mike Thomas is going to be out again this week for the Saints. And so I'm just kind of looking at the vision and thinking there's no way Tampa doesn't walk away from that on top. I mean, I don't know what's going on in New Orleans with the Mike Thomas situation.
Is it another PR thing or is it an injury? Because last week was the locker room issue.
Yeah, I mean, he started off, he was injured, then he's eligible to come back. He gets into a fight with a teammate, and he was out a game. I'm not sure what it was this week. I just know he's going to be out, and
it's a hamstring, I believe.
A hamstring, yeah. And I don't know. I don't see the Saints. I mean, they're still playing good football, but I think they definitely need him out there to compete or try to win that division against Tampa. But with Antonio Brown going to the Bucs and the trade deadline coming up soon, there's a lot of rumblings, a lot of talks about all these other players getting moved around. I know we talked last show, and the Jets have made a couple more moves today for some draft picks. We're seeing a lot of guys kind of get shipped around. I've seen a couple websites of people doing some mock trades that could potentially go down on November 3rd or just throughout the next week. And the big one right now, I think up in the air, is Julio Jones and the Atlanta Falcons. Because I mean, at this point in time, Atlanta's not going to go anywhere this year. And I mean, that defense is horrible, but if firing Dan Quinn and whatnot, give that team a chance to start. But then I'm just thinking about, I know every single team in the NFL would want Julio Jones on their team. I'm just trying to think what would maybe be the best fit for him. I mean, what teams do you see out there that could potentially go make the move for him?
To be honest, I'm not sure right now. A lot probably will change in the next week here. Mm-hmm. Regardless, a team's gonna have to give up a lot for a talent like Julio Jones. Mm-hmm. So it just depends which teams want to make a move, who's gonna be buyers, who's gonna be sellers. It'll be interesting to see.
Yeah, and that's something maybe next show we could get it more into. Maybe have a list of who we think is going to be buyers and sellers. I look at teams like I think we said something last night when we were watching the game. I think the 49ers are going to be making moves for a pass rusher. I've heard inklings of possibly Ryan Kerrigan from the Redskins, which I think would be a great move. Ryan Kerrigan, I think, has been one of the more underrated guys in the league for a year down there in Washington. I know the city of Washington loves him, but I could see possibly with Bosa out and who's the other end they got there? I think went down with a ACL. Buckner, was it? No, Buckner's not there. I don't know, but I see them making pretty much for Nick Bosa, just trying to maybe get a 1-year rental on a good defensive end to bring in to try to replace him. And then I think I might have said last show, I think you'll see teams, a lot of these teams that we thought maybe going into the year were going to be a little better, these teams like the Vikings and whatnot that are sitting with bad records, potentially just having these fire sales that a lot of these top contenders are going to go and probably try to pick apart. And my thing is, we'll go back to the Eagles a little bit. I've been telling you guys, I think, that team was going to potentially have a fire sale, but after because the division's so bad, and after that game last night, you could potentially make an argument to swing the other way and say, hey, we'll try to. I still think Zach Ertz is gone, but potentially we could try to bring in some pieces to maybe secure, at least locking this division down. You know what I mean? Because last night they went from picking like 9th to 19th with that win. And, I don't know. We'd have to get into that a little more and really go down a list of teams to see what's going to go down. But I don't know. Any potential moves you guys see that could happen?
Again, I'd probably have to look more into it, but I do tend to agree with you. I think Zach Ertz is gone. I think Dallas Goedert can probably easily be the number one tight end on that team.
Easily.
I think they can probably get a couple of firsts for him if they do deal him. So.
A couple firsts?
At least a first. I don't know.
Probably not worth it.
I don't know about a couple.
Yeah, I just don't think he's that good this year.
Bare minimum first round pick.
Yeah, I think. I think I said I could definitely possibly see him. Maybe New England, they need a tight end, but it just doesn't seem like a New England move.
The Bears possibly.
Bears possibly. That's a good. I thought they were potentially in the run-in for maybe an Antonio Brown. Just to help that receiving core down there. Because I think you got some lame duck quarterback play, but. And then we're still looking at free agents. We saw, obviously Des Bryant on the Ravens practice squad, of them potentially bringing him. That was another team I thought potentially would go for the Antonio Brown sweepstakes. I know Josh Gordon gets reinstated here in a little bit. I think what's being said about that is he's probably going to go back to the Seahawks, but I'm not sure. And this whole time when they were talking about AB to the Seahawks, to me it didn't really make sense. And I guess you could make the same argument for the Bucs just because of the weapons you kind of already have. And I guess I can just see the risk of possibly bringing Antonio Brown in. I think the Bucs. I think why Tom Brady pushed so hard is because I think in Tom Brady's mind, he knows that maybe he could kind of keep that under control and maybe because, like I said, on the field, I'm not worried about Antonio Brown. I think he's definitely going to perform and play. I know there's only so many balls that can go around, but they'll definitely get him involved. But now it's just we're going to have to pay close attention to off the field. I mean, I think that dude's got to throw all his phones away, whatnot. Like, you can't take a chance with nothing. I mean, Antonio Brown is pretty much on his fourth strike, and usually you only get 3 and you're out. But same thing with Josh Gordon. But this should be fun. That should be fun. I definitely we've talked about potentially doing a little trade deadline stream or something, having a little viewer thing for that. That should be a crazy day. Just a crazy year of football in general. So that'll be fun to see. So we'll move off that. Next thing we're going to talk about is a little AFC matchup. 2 undefeated teams going against each other this week. Steelers at Titans. You see one must fall there. We're going to see one of these teams be undefeated. I like Steelers going into this. Just with that defense, I think I want to believe they could possibly shut down Derrick Henry, but I'm just not sure. I mean, I like the Steelers a little more. I think at this point, to be honest, call me crazy, I think I like the Steelers a little more than the Ravens at this point.
That's not crazy.
The Ravens just kind of really haven't looked the same to me, but I think this will be a huge implication of who's possibly going to make it out of the AFC. I know Seattle's still undefeated. Is there any other undefeated teams? I don't think so.
I'm not sure.
Are
Seahawks still undefeated? I think they might be
5-0. Yeah, because they had their bye this weekend. I'm not sure who they play.
They play the Cardinals Sunday night.
That'll be a good football game right there. That'll be a really good football game. But yeah, what do we think about Steelers Titans here?
From a betting perspective, Steelers coming in at a +1.5. I don't get that at all. I think that's a really safe bet to take.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I like the Steelers as well. I just think they're going to take the game. I think they're going to find a way. The Titans obviously have Derrick Henry. He's going to have a gigantic impact on the game. But I don't think the Titans passing game is able to stand up against that Steelers secondary. I think Minkah Fitzpatrick and crew out there is going to be able to just shut it down. I really think it's going to come down to Derrick Henry. And one way or the other, he's going to run some train. That's a guaranteed.
He's going to get at least 20 touches. Just depends on what he does with them.
Exactly.
Do they have a line on how many yards they're predicting he hits? Because my thing is, if any team can stop Derrick Henry, I think it's that front seven, the Steelers front seven. I mean, they're just animals. Mm-hmm. I saw Ryan Clark on ESPN today talking about, if he was the whole Steelers philosophy and culture is that we're going to stop the run, and it's been that way ever since the Steelers have been a team. And like I said, I think if any team can do it. Because I mean, Derrick Henry's not going to go off for 200 yards every game, but just still, like, it has a great impact, and I definitely think that front seven could possibly do something with them. And like you said, Steelers got a great secondary too. I mean, you got Minkah, Mike Hilton back there. I don't know if Joe Hayden's playing. Yeah, I think Joe Hayden's still back there. But that should be a really fun game. That's probably I think that's Sunday, that the hypest game I'm looking forward to. And with the Steelers, we were just talking about like what the 49ers want to do. I could see with Devin Bush going out, the Steelers possibly trying to go out and get themselves a linebacker to kind of fill that spot for the rest of the year. But yeah, that's a little AFC matchup we got. Two undefeated teams. One of them's got to go. I think win or lose either team, they're still both going to be all right. But yeah, you can't. I mean, two undefeated teams can't stay undefeated when they play each other. So yeah, that'll be fun. We'll go on. Just talk about Sunday schedule here for a little bit. If we could pull that up, see what games we got coming up. A little Steelers Titans action we got there. We got some Cowboys football team. Which by the way, a little nugget here. The Washington has confirmed that at least through next year they're going to remain the football team, which I
really don't mind it, bro. Like it kind of just works.
It kind of just works. I mean, I think because we just refer to them as Washington. I mean, like you said, at this point we're already so far in. What's the point in going back and naming them the Red Tails or the Red Hawks or anything like that? Just keep it the football team. That's
you got Cowboys or Washington there. I'm taking Cowboys.
Yeah, I like Cowboys quite a bit. I don't think Kyle Allen is really gonna perform that well.
Oh, dude, the NFC East is a crapshoot, bro. It's really hard. And so here's another thing. We're talking about trades and trade deadlines. I mean, what does Washington do with Dwayne Haskins at this point? I mean, you know, they got him benched. I know Kyle Allen is Ron Rivera's guy. But I mean, I just don't know what you do. I don't know. I think he's kind of in the same boat as Darnold, where it's like, hey, we're going to possibly look to move off this guy, but what team would want that caliber of a quarterback at this point, unless they think maybe they go and sit under a guy for a year to maybe learn and whatnot. But
there can't be a huge market for him, I wouldn't think.
I wouldn't think either. I mean,
great point. He's super underdeveloped at this point. Like Dwayne Haskins.
Well, that's my thing, and I think
needs a lot of work.
I think benching him is not going to help him either. I mean, I don't think anyone this year expected Washington to come in and be a good football team. So, I mean, and you invest a 10th overall pick into Dwayne Haskins, and then you kind of bench him for Kyle Allen. I mean, you kind of just stunting them. And, you know, that's how these guys just kind of get bounced out of the league because they you know, they don't really get a shot. And they only the limited tape he does have on film isn't necessarily good. He's had a couple of spots where Haskins has looked really good, but I think that's the same thing. A little blurry there. We good on that? The same thing where it's like I don't think anyone expected them to be good. So I mean, just kind of let them go out there and be bad and kind of go from there. But I think Ron Rivera is just trying to kind of build up this culture and whatnot. Which I don't know. I think Ron Rivera can figure it out here in a couple of years or whatnot, and then. Looking at the schedule a little more, we just go down the whole thing. We got a little Bills Jets action. I don't even need to talk about that.
Yeah, sorry, man.
I want to hear the line for that.
Bills are minus 13 right now, I believe.
Wow.
Gee! And you know what? I'm hammering that bet. I'm gonna hammer it, dude. There's no, you know what I mean?
Definitely do not hate that.
There's no way. What are they the favorite on that?
Let me see. The Jets team total is like embarrassingly low. Let me pull it up.
It's so bad.
Yeah. Their projected points is 17 and a half right now.
Wow.
For the Jets to score?
Yeah. For the entire game.
I don't even think they scored 10.
Yeah.
So minus 13 is not crazy at all. I think that's spot on. I'd take a minus 20. Jesus Christ. So, yeah, I mean, that's going to be something I know for sure. I'm turning off at the second half. Keep going here. We got a little Panthers-Saints action. We were just talking about the Saints. You know, we got Michael Thomas out. I think they have Emmanuel Sanders out, maybe somebody else. And
that's a good matchup.
It's a good matchup. I think Teddy goes in there Sunday and gets it done. I like
the little revenge narrative against the Saints.
A little something like that for sure. I just think with all these injuries, I mean, they're 3-2, so they're obviously playing good football. I don't see him hold on. But Drew Brees to me has not looked the same throughout the season. And maybe that's just me. Maybe that's him not having, you know, slant god Michael Thomas. But football team just hasn't looked the same, and I'm not sure. You know what how that ends up. I've been watching the Panthers games too, and I mean they're just they have a very limited roster. They have a lot of firepower on offense, and so I like where they're going to be. I don't think that's a bad football team at all, but I like them going into that. I like them going into the dome and possibly sneaking away a win with that, which will put them right on second in the division there, which is kind of crazy to think about. I don't know. What do you guys think about that one?
Yeah, it should be a definitely fun game to watch offensively. Both are pretty explosive on the offensive end.
Mm-hmm.
I'm taking Saints for no specific reason at all, but I just like the Saints in the dome, bro. Moving on next, we got Packers at the Texans. I'm taking Green Bay all day. We got Aaron Rodgers coming back after his first loss. Green Bay came out 4-0, kind of got knocked back a peg there. I think they're just going to come out firing against a 1-5 Texans team. I think they're going to have some issues.
Mm-hmm. Which the Texans being 1-5 is crazy to me, man.
They've lost a lot of close games, so it's not like
and that's
totally
true.
Indicative of their play. I don't think
that's true. I mean, and obviously stuff going on whatnot with Bill O'Brien making some rather poor decisions, trading wise, GM wise, but yeah, that's definitely been one of the shockers to me. Minnesota and the Houston have been two of the more shocking bad teams this year. Like you said, I don't necessarily want to call the Texans bad because they have lost a couple really close games, but I just thought maybe Deshaun Watson would be able to figure it out. I mean, he's so good, and obviously they still got JJ Watt and whatnot, but to me, what I've seen with the Texans is, they go out and trade for David Johnson, and it looks like they're just trying too hard to feed him and get him involved. It just doesn't look natural. It looks kind of like a play where it's like, hey, we traded top 2 wide receiver in the league, so we got to make this count somehow. We just got to feed David Johnson when I just don't think it's been working right. But yeah, I don't know. I think the Packers definitely win that game. Like you said, I think Aaron Rodgers is going to come out looking to kill. That I could potentially see being a little shootout, though. I see a high scoring game from that.
I was just gonna say
a little back and forth action between Mahomes and Rodgers. I'd like to see Watson use his legs a little bit more to open things up for the pass. But Texans, though, is one of those teams where we were just talking about potential trade deadline. I think they'll be sellers. I think they look to get rid of the Randall Cobbs and the Duke Johnsons. I think they just try to get those off the books because I don't think they're going to be able to be good this year. So I think they just kind of got to let it happen. And I don't necessarily know what you do with Brandon Cooks, who I think is just one of the most overrated players in the league. Nothing against him, but for what he's making.
He has played super well the past couple of weeks, but again, I don't think he's what people talk about. He's never going to be a wide receiver 1 on a team.
And what's he been? He's been on like 4 teams in 4 years or something like that. I know he started off. Did he start off with New Orleans or New England?
He started off with New Orleans, I think. He's played for the Rams. He's played for the Patriots.
And now he's on Houston. So I just, oh my God, what the fuck was Bill Bryan thinking, dude? He just fumbled the bag on that. You got Kyler Murray and Nuke down there in Arizona, just connecting perfect. And I don't know. I think to take that away from Deshaun Watson, especially after you sign him to like the second highest contract, to then just take such a huge weapon away from him is crazy to me. And so when I look at that, though, like there's nothing against David Johnson. I know he's not necessarily what he used to be. I mean, 2-3 years ago, he was arguably one of the better running backs in the league. And it's nothing against him. I just think when you trade away DeAndre Hopkins for him, it just makes absolutely no sense. I don't want to shit on David Johnson, but it's just a dumb move.
Just a bad trade. That's all there is to it.
All right, so we'll move on to the next game. We're here looking at Browns Bengals. That should be a little fun one, another AFC North matchup. I got the Browns sneaking out of this one. I love me some Joe Burrow this year. Dude's been looking really good, but he's I think the Bengals are a little bit looking like the Eagles this year, where it's like it's all on the quarterback to kind of get it done. And Joe Burrow's been out there playing lights out, but I mean he's been getting just
murdered.
Dude's been taking some hits, man. He's throwing like 50 times a game, and it's just I like the Bengals' weapons too. I think Joe Mixon is out, which is the reason why I'm going to take the Browns. And then I don't know what's going on with AJ Green. That's another guy I think they have to move off of at this point. We saw a couple of plays last week where it looks like he just didn't care, didn't want to be out there. And I think AJ Green is still worth something. I just think when you got so many other young weapons on that team with the Tyler Boyds and the T. Higgins that I just think it's time to possibly move off AJ Green. I know AJ Green isn't obviously as good as Julio Jones, but that dude's been a 7-time Pro Bowler, and I still think he's got some good football left in him, but they're just not getting him involved in that offense. But
I don't think there's a very big market for him either. He's super injury prone as it is.
Yeah.
So
worst decision fantasy wise for me to pick that dude up. I started him for like 4 weeks, dude, and it's just like you're getting one target a game.
Mm-hmm. He is due to explode one of these games, though. It's just a matter of one.
Yeah. I agree with that. He'll definitely maybe have one. I could see them, like you said, market-wise, maybe this week they do try to get him involved, show people, hey, he can still play, maybe raise his, trade value or something. I just don't see him finishing the year with that team. I don't think there's any place for him in that offense. But yeah, I definitely like the Browns in here.
I like Browns as well. The Bengals 1-4-1. Those 4 losses have all been like close contention games. They've had chances to win. It's really just come down to a couple drives, couple plays, but ultimately not coming out on top. And like you said, without Joe Mixon in, I'm definitely taking the Browns on that.
I just like to think, because I looked for the first 2 quarters last week against Indianapolis, Joe Burrow looked like Joe Montana out there, and then that defense kind of fell apart, and Phil Rivers came back to get him. And that's not discourage any Bengals fans. I think you guys are set up pretty good for the next couple of years. I know they're probably still going to be bad this year, obviously, but I think that's a real bright future up there in old Cincinnati. I think Joey Burrow is going to be that guy. Then what we got here, we got a little Lions-Falcons action. Personally, I could care less. Unless you guys got something to say about that. I'm not watching that crap. Jesus.
Fantasy, Calvin Ridley about to pop off.
Yeah. I think that's another sneaky shootout game. I think Todd Gurley does pretty well this game as a bounce back spot. The Lions run defense is absolutely abysmal.
Yeah.
So I like Todd Gurley quite a bit if you're playing DFS.
Todd Gurley hasn't looked bad this year. I know there's a lot of talks him coming in thinking, that dude's got 80-year-old knees, but he's been looking all right. He's been looking all right. I agree with the shootout point. I could see that. Falcons defense is awful.
Both defenses are pretty abysmal.
Yeah, and too, I'm ready to see that boy Kenny Galladay start to explode. He's been back 2 weeks now, I think, and he's been looking good. But I agree. That could be a fun little game. We got some Bucks Raiders. I'm looking forward to this one. I think this one be a little closer than we think. I don't have the Raiders winning, but I like them a little better than other teams might think, or other people might think. Just at this point, I think the Bucks defense is just too good.
Yeah, they really did turn it on this past week.
I like the Bucks defense too much. I know the Raiders looked really good against Kansas City, and maybe they carry a little bit of that momentum into this game and could maybe shock them. I think TB12 gets it done.
I agree with you. Yeah, I'm taking Bucks on that. I think Raiders are going to have a good shot. I think the Raiders are a good team when they turn it on, but I don't really think they have the ability to just turn it on that easy. I think it takes a lot for them to get in their groove.
I agree with that. Got a little Jaguars-Chargers action, a little Minshew mania versus a little Air Bear Justin Herbert. I like the Chargers there. To me, I think Justin Herbert is going to be in this league for a long time. I think he looks really good. not only from a physical appearance. I mean, damn, that's a handsome man right there. He's got that Disney Channel hair that you love to see. I like him in that game, just because of the weapons they have. And I mean, the Jaguars just aren't very good. And I think every week you start Gardner Minshew, you're just kind of asking for it. I just don't think he's the guy. Good story, fun energy. I know the people in Jacksonville love him, but he's just obviously not the guy. I think I've said before, I think the Jets are obviously in the running for the Trevor Lawrence sweepstakes, but I could see the Jaguars going for the next guy up coming up in the draft, maybe a Justin Fields or Trey Lance or kid there out of Florida. I forgot his name, but they'll definitely be up there in that conversation. I like the Chargers though. What do you guys think?
I do as well. They're another team that should not be 1-4. They've lost a lot of super close games as well.
Yeah.
And they are stacked on both sides of the field. Yeah, they're going to be super good here in a couple of years, I think.
Yeah. No,
you got the line on that game, Twig?
I could pull it up real quick.
Yeah, I would take Chargers as well on that. I mean, I don't know.
There's no way they're not.
I just don't like the Jags. Just don't like the Jags winning that game. I just don't.
Yeah, they're 7.5 point favorites right now. I like that quite a bit.
Yeah. I like that. I like that. I think Joey Bosa is going to eat up. Just keep going down the line here. A little 49ers Patriots action. Now this is a weird one. I saw a stat earlier that when Belichick and Shanahan play each other, they're very, very close games. I like the Patriots. I don't think Cam Newton has another performance like he does last week. I think he comes into this game looking to make a statement. Just my biggest problem with the Patriots, dude, is they just have absolutely no receivers. I don't know who they go get or potential move they can make, but they just no firepower on offense. Obviously, the running back position, I think you're okay. Sonny Michel, James White, our little white boy tank back there. What's his name?
Rex Burkhead.
So I don't know. I can't make a decision on that game right now. I think that'll be a good game, but I think it's going to be super close. You got two great minds going at it with Shanahan and Belichick. I want to think Belichick pulls it out in the end, but I don't know. That's a good game.
Jimmy G revenge narrative. I don't hate that either.
Yeah. I didn't even think of that little Jimmy G revenge tour. Maybe light a fire under him. Cause they yanked him last week, didn't they?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's not good. Like me personally, I don't think Jimmy G's that guy at all. I'm not a big Jimmy G fan. Good looking dude for sure, but I don't think he's a good football quarterback. I know they went to the Super Bowl last year and whatnot, but their running backs and that front seven was insane last year. I think he's a very good game manager, but difference maker, I'm not too sure. So we'll see with that one. You got some Chiefs Broncos action. I mean, I can't not take the Chiefs. I think the Broncos could definitely do it, but I'm not going to bet against the Chiefs and Patty Mahomes. There's just no way. I don't know what you guys think.
Without Melvin Gordon, I don't think they really do much. I know Drew Lock is back, but even with that, I don't see a scenario where they don't get blown out here.
Easy Kansas City lock there. I mean, but this next game for me, this is the game I'm really the most excited to see. I think this is going to be an absolute offensive clinic shootout.
Yeah.
100 points on the board. I'm trying to see some touchdowns here, boys. And I think this game's going to be it. Russell Wilson versus Kyler Murray.
Agree 100%.
Kyler Murray! Ewok Murray. Love
world's tallest little person.
Hey, I'll make a t-shirt right now. No, I definitely think shootout. I still think Chandler Jones isn't there. Right.
He's out for the year, I believe.
Out for the year. Yeah, I didn't see what his injury was. Definitely an offensive game. Because we've seen that a lot of the Seahawks being 5-0, a lot of those games have been, they're getting the score ran up on them, and Russell Wilson's just bombing throws, and they have to score. That defense is for being a Pete Carroll team is not looked really good. But we've talked a bunch of times about that boy DK Metcalf, and you just throw the damn ball in the air, dude. He's gonna go figure it out. It doesn't even need to run a route, nothing, dude. Just throw it up. He'll go get it. He's just bigger and stronger than everybody. Any
athletic freak. Yeah.
Athletic freak. There's no cornerback in the league I think that could hold him. Then a Monday night game. We got a little Monday night action. Bears-Rams. I really like this game. Somehow the Bears are 5-1. They've won some really ugly games. I don't know who I like going into that one. I really don't know who I like going into that one. I think Sean McVay come up with a good game plan to suppress that defense a little bit. I mean, the Chicago defense is scary, but I think I like the Rams there because I'm just not sure. How the Bears are 5-1. But
I think the Bears are sneakily a really good team.
Think so?
They're another team with a really scary front seven. Khalil Mack is an absolute animal.
Why do we say that?
What do you mean?
You think they're a sneakily good team? I personally don't see it.
They just had offensively, they're not great. I think if any other quarterback besides Nick Foles or Mitchell Trubisky throwing to Allen Robinson, I think it's easily a top 5 wide receiver talent in the NFL.
Yeah. Yeah. Who they got in at back there? I know Cohen's out, isn't he?
David Montgomery's not nothing special, but
yeah, I could see them making a play potentially.
They just play super slow paced, and they just know how to get the job done. I don't know.
Yeah, I agree. I really like I love the Rams running back core. I think they got some real. I know Austin or no, that's the Chargers. Darrell Henderson, what's his name?
Darrell Henderson.
I think they got a good group of running backs back there. And I think just because of how limited Jared Goff is, they're a good running team that he can break it open. I think too, the Rams have, I think, you kind of said about the Bears, one of the more super underrated wide receiver cores. They got some players out there, Robert Woods, Cooper Kupp, and the gang. Definitely, that'll be fun little Monday night game right there. I'd like to see. I think that's gonna wrap it up for our little football talk. One last thing we talk about here before we go is yet again got a little UFC action tomorrow. UFC 254. We kind of made our picks and stuff last week or last show. 2 p.m. start time on that. I think it looks really good. Had Ariel Helwani today on the Pat McAfee show, kind of talking about the card and whatnot and how he thinks it's going to go down. And I kind of still stand with where, my pick I made. I want to take Gaethje. I'd like to see Gaethje win. I don't think he does. I think Khabib is just a savage. But I don't know, is there any last little nugget you guys think about, could possibly go down on this card? I mean, I'm so excited. I think 2 p.m. start time's weird tomorrow, but we'll definitely be in there watching. But I don't know. I've been thinking about it a lot, watched some stuff, read some articles. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm still sticking with my picks. I don't see a scenario where Khabib gets flatlined by Gaethje. Yeah. I think he just tires him out by the fourth. I like the fourth round submission. Yeah.
I agree. Then one last little nugget I want to talk about here before we wrap this up is Twig, you said something in the chat. I think you'd know a little bit more about it. But Leon Edwards, they have announced as a done deal, Leon Edwards versus, I don't want to butcher this dude's name, Khamzat Chimaev. That dude's a beast. Just reading a tweet here that says it's a done deal, main event, December 19th. But then I want you to explain this a little bit. You said something about what they do with Leon Edwards with the rankings. How did this go down?
Earlier today, I saw a tweet where he got removed from the 170 rankings altogether. Mm-hmm. And then right before I got out of work, I saw that you tweeted that fight got made. I was just super surprised to see that. I think Leon Edwards, he got bullied into making that fight. I know he wanted to fight for a title, but him winning this would definitely solidify him as a title contender.
For sure.
Because this kid is a stud that he's going to fight.
And see, this is where I think we might be entering a little bit of a lose-lose situation. Because, I mean, if Edwards loses, like I said, you're taking away a contender. But then if how the hell do you say his name again, bro?
Chimaev.
I think if he loses, then you just completely derail this hype train they're pushing him for. I've been reading a lot of stuff on Twitter saying I don't think this dude deserves it yet. I mean, he's looked really good, and I know Dana said he's going to try to find him another fight immediately. But this is just a weird fight to happen. Yeah, that's especially what we've heard with like Dana and Connor. Dana said that the whole rest of this year was set. They had no plans to do anything else for the rest of the year. The whole schedule was planned out, and then they kind of just do this fight. But I mean, that's going to be a really good fight. I like me some Leon Edwards. The other guy is a freak. I think they're kind of, we're getting into the little Sean O'Malley deal. I know all three of us are huge fans of Sean O'Malley, and he deserves it because he's really good. I just think they hyped him up a little too fast, too early, only having 10, 11 fights under his belt. And then we saw O'Malley come out and get hurt in that fight. And then you got to think, well, he's, what do you do with him next? But like I said, to me, that's a lose-lose situation. Like you said, from what you read, if you're thinking Edwards kind of got bullied into that fight, I mean, I could definitely see that. Do we know what they're fighting at? It's at 170, right?
It's at 170, yeah. 170. I looked at the betting odds Tori Hap down there, too. I was surprised to see Chimaev open as a minus 120 favorite.
Shoo!
Yeah, it was a bit surprising to me.
Minus 120? Mm-hmm. Oh, man. Yeah, I don't know. I definitely we can talk about that the next show we have. I definitely look in more to that. I mean, that literally happened 10 minutes before we started this show. But I mean, early predictions. I mean, I don't even know. That's
just my snap reaction to it. I don't hate Leon Edwards at plus 104. Just looking at it from.
Yeah. When's the last time he fought? I feel like I haven't heard Leon Edwards' name in a long time.
It's been over a year, definitely. It's probably why he got removed from the rankings.
Yeah, because I saw something. Wasn't he like third or something?
He was top 3, top 4 at least.
So if Chimaev wins, he's obviously. I mean, that's a top 5 ranking if he wins.
Yeah, his stock would skyrocket immediately.
Skyrocket, but that's what I'm saying. If he loses, that's obviously good for Leon Edwards, but. That hype train may get derailed a little bit. But that'll get fun. That'll definitely be something else we talk about. Definitely excited for tomorrow's fight. Yas Island, a little Abu Dhabi, Khabib, Gaethje. Super excited. Possibly, if we're all available, might do a little viewing party, just a little live stream. We sit down and talk and watch it and have a little good time, drink a little beers and whatnot. I think that wraps it up for this week, though. Anything you guys got or – any last little things we want to shout out? Do a little thing. One thing I want to do is give a little shout out to our boy King Will Ultimate Gaming. Head to twitch.com /King Will Ultimate Gaming. That's the boy. He does it for the meat pack. He's a part of the Salami Squad. We're going to shout out our boy. You show us love, we'll show you some love back. So shout out to him. Thanks for watching. We are the Meat Pack, baby. Let's go. Another one in the books. Cut it.
Meat Pack out.